In this session, we will be learning about computer programming syntax. We will try to list common rules in most of the programming languages and try to understand why they are important. This video is a part of the series Computer Programming for Absolute Beginners. Do check out the other videos if you haven't seen them yet. Link to the playlist is available in the description. Let's go ahead and continue talking more about syntax in programming. Talking about any natural languages, syntax is the grammatical structure of sentences. The format in which the words and phrases are arranged to create a sentence is called syntax. As an example, consider the statements, "Happily, the boy jumped." We have a variation of the same statement which starts with an exclamation mark. Also, the word boy is in the lower case right after the period. The second statement is syntactically incorrect in English. It contains multiple errors like exclamation mark appearing in the beginning of the sentence. The first word after the period is in lower case. The second statement surely does not comply to any rules in English. Similarly, every programming language has a set of rules that you need to stick to. These rules administers how you write the source code, how you start and end each line of the instruction, usage of valid keywords and symbols for writing those instructions. Syntax is language specific and differs a little or a lot depending on the language. As an example, you can see these two blocks of code written in VB6 and PHP. Both of them have a different syntax just to display hello world on the screen. The next set of statements is another example which highlights the syntax rules in natural languages. How lucky in Spanish would be written as que suerte. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. I just hope that I made no mistakes over here. The inverted exclamatory sign is used to begin exclamatory sentences in Spanish. This syntax is valid only in Spanish. Similarly, for programming language, in our previous example, if we replace the print with echo in VB6, the program won't work. This is a syntax error as VB6 does not know what echo is. We see that the syntax rules are valid only in the scope of the programming language, and rules which might be valid in one language may not be valid in other. So we conclude that the syntax refers to the ways symbols may be combined to create a well-formed sentence or programs in the chosen programming language. Syntax deals solely with the form and structure of the symbols in a language without any consideration given to their meaning. Syntax rules are valid only in the scope of one language. Syntax is concerned only with the structure of the expression and statements, but semantics is the meaning of those expressions and statements. We could frame a sentence in English saying, "A rock smelled the color 9. Now this is a perfect sentence but has absolutely no meaning because rocks do not smell, and even if they could, they couldn't smell a color that doesn't exist. Yeah, we are talking about a totally different color which does not exist at all. The meaning given to a combination of symbols is handled by semantics. As an example, losing a punctuation mark can be a life-threatening situation for your grandmom. "Let's eat grandma" is a syntactically perfect statement, but you surely aren't planning to eat your grandma. A comma changes the semantics of the statement. Comma helps you to convey the message that you are asking your grandma to join you for a meal. And this is another one just for you. Surely, Rachel likes to cook for her family and dog, and not them. Similarly, your program may be syntactically correct, but having a correct syntax does not guarantee that it is semantically correct. We can write a block of code to calculate the area of rectangle. Area of rectangle is calculated by multiplying the width and the length of the rectangle. In this code, instead of multiplying the width and the length, we are adding them. This code will not give any error, but it does not do what it is supposed to do. We will not go much deeper with regards to semantics in this video. We will first concentrate on syntax. I would try to give you an overview of the common syntax related constructs which you would find in almost all the programming languages that you pick. Keywords are similar to words in natural languages like English or Hindi. In order to get started with speaking natural language, we would have to know a good number of words along with their meaning. Only then we will be able to communicate. This is not the case with programming languages. Programming languages have their own set of limited reserved keywords. Just like natural languages, these keywords have their own predefined meaning. The number of reserved keywords differ with language. C# has around 78 keywords and a few bunch of contextual keywords, whereas Java has around 50. You do not need to memorize any of these keywords as of now. Keywords provides us with the ability like calculation, decision making, looping, managing the flow of the program, and much more. Every programming language would provide such generic abilities by using their own set of keywords. This is a very limited set, and you will not be able to describe the problem that you are trying to solve solely by using these keywords. All high-level programming languages provide you options for defining your own words. These words would help you in describing elements of the problem domain that you are trying to solve. We would get to know more about them when we learn about variables, functions, and concepts of object-oriented programming. Comments are used in programming language to document the program. Comments are also helpful in placing hints like to-dos or simply providing some information which would be helpful for you or your fellow programmers. Many programming languages support two types of commenting style: single-line comment, also known as end-of-line comment, and multi-line comments, which are also known as block comments. Block comments or multi-line comments can span multiple lines and end when the closing symbol of comment is encountered. Single-line comment ends when the line terminates. It won't comment the next line. Besides documentation, there are times wherein you would like to exclude a certain set of instruction from being executed, but you still want it to remain in the program. In such cases, you can comment those instructions. Syntax for placing comments differs in various languages. Few languages supports block or multi-line comments, whereas few others don't. Few languages support comments to be nested inside the other comments. Here you see is a sample list of programming languages along with the single line and block comment identifiers. It is essential to make note that using lower or uppercase words in English do not change their meaning. But in many programming language, declaring symbols or identifiers in lowercase would be different from those declared in uppercase or mixed case. The example shown over here is in JavaScript language, where all the three variables declared are different from each other. In natural languages like English, we end a statement with a period, whereas in Hindi, a statement is ended using a pipe. We have similar rule in almost all the programming languages. Each line of instruction needs to be ended with a symbol which denotes end of the statement. Most of the modern programming languages requires a semicolon as the end of the statement identifier. There are also many where new line or a period is used. New line character is a special character which is not visible and is entered using the enter key on the keyboard. Whitespaces are any character which is typed but not visible on the screen. This can be space, new line, or a tab. Whitespace characters are used to separate tokens, just like we use space in the natural language. Whitespaces are mostly used to make program more readable. Most of the programming languages would ignore any additional whitespace characters, but there are a few which are sensitive to the usage of whitespace. Example, in Python language, we could write a block of code similar to this. Do make a note of the indentation. Indentation is the space which is intentionally added in the program. When the condition 1 is true, only then condition 2 is tested for being true. If condition 1 is false, test for condition 2 will never be made. On the other hand, in the second example, the second if statement is not indented to be in the same level with statement 1. Over here, both the if blocks would be evaluated, and if the condition is true, then the subsequent statement would be executed. In programming language Python, improper indentation could completely change the flow of the program. So in this session, we managed to get some understanding about the basic syntax rules which are common in various programming languages. If you have any queries or suggestions, leave us a comment or write to us at hello@skillhive.co. We would be happy to help you. Do visit our website at skillhive.co. We are gearing up for making some cool quizzes so that you can test your understanding. Know any friend who wants to get started with programming? Feel free to share these videos with them. This is Charan Raj signing off. Happy learning!